Ritual Pendulum, and more. Performapal Gentrude. Pendulum effect. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are pendulum monsters, in either case, you can have one Performapal Lady Anjay, and you have one Performapal Lady Anjay in your other pendulum zone. You can add one Odd-eyes card from your deck to your hand. Any Odd-eyes card. So this adds you Odd-eyes fusion. That's actually pretty good for the Zark strategy. And it's an 8, so that's pretty decent. If Lady Angie just searches Gertrude or Gentrude, that's amazing. What is its monster effect? Monster effect, you can only use, they're hard ones per turns. If this card is destroyed, place one pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone, except Gentrude. If this card is face up in your extra deck, you can discard one pendulum monster, add this card from your to your hand. Then you can return one Performapal or Odd-eyes. Okay. Really cool. So the play with this card: normal summon this, activate Sky Iris, pop this. It goes to the extra deck. Set a pendulum monster. Or a Performapal. So you're setting Angie, and then you can activate this card to activate this card to your hand, and then bounce the Lady Angie back to your hand as well. That way you have scales, and you get an Odd-eyes. You get an Odd-eyes card in the. You get an Odd-eyes monster in the interim for that. And you get a search off of him after you rescale up. Once per turn, if you declare pendulum effect. When an attack is declared involving both players' monsters, you can discard one pendulum monster. The battling monster loses. Your opponent's battling monster loses 1,000 attack for the rest of this turn. This is kind of bad. Monster effect. You can discard one card, this card, and one other pendulum monster, except Lady Angie, draw 2 cards. One other Performapal monster, my bad. That's actually really nice. So this is a it's neutral, but it's decent. But this will go to the graveyard, I think, right? Because it's a discard. If this card is in your graveyard and you control a Odd-eyes card or Performapal Gentrude, place this card in your pendulums. Fuck me! Why is this a... What? So this is a free draw too, right? 4th 6-hour stream in a row. No. Well, yeah, fair. So this is a free draw too, essentially, for the deck, because if you control an Odd-eyes monster or Performapal Gentrude, an Odd-eyes card or Gentrude, you can place it in the pendulum scale. So if you just draw into Gentrude, you can set this. This is so... Wow. These two synergize so fucking well. I like it. This is good. I like the synergy. The synergy is really good. Alright, the pendulum monster. Also, they're obviously meant to be used for the pendulum, I guess. During the end phase... Okay, so scale effect. You can add one ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Return this card to the hand. Alright, that's cool. It better have a really broken effect. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, inflict 300 damage to them. That's a start. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card or spell effect, quick effect, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. And if you do, negate that opponent's effect. Then, if this card was ritual summoned before being placed in the pendulum zone, special summon one Odd-eyes monster from your extra deck. So this gets you 2 free negates because it gets you itself as a spell negate, and then you can summon the Vortex Dragon from the extra deck. A way to instantly summon Vortex Dragon. Yeah, this is pretty good. I don't know if this is worth running, but it's decent. It is decent. EXP. Conduct a pendulum summon of a monster from your extra deck. Of a monster or monsters from your extra deck during your main phase this turn, in addition to your pendulum summon. Oh, this is a pendulum card? This is searchable. Spawn negate is soft once per turn? Really? Oh, you're right. It is a soft once per turn. I don't know about this, Chief. I don't know about this. I don't know. I don't know about this, Chief. I don't know. This is okay. I don't think Pendulum needs this. This is okay. I don't think many Pendulum decks are, This ain't it, Chief. This ain't it. I don't know. This just doesn't... Pendulum doesn't need this. Sling gets better with XP. Kinda. I don't know. This ain't it. What do you mean a Pendulum deck doesn't need another Pendulum summon? I don't feel like... Okay. I don't feel like it's good to run a card. So the problem that I see with this card, is that it takes up another way to get to scales. It takes up another way to get to scales. And you really, really need to get to scales in Pendulum. And the more cards that you're running that either don't get you a link summon before zones, or don't get you two scales, the worse your Pendulum deck is. So I'm not sure about extra Pendulum. But I don't know. Prove me wrong. Pendulum scale. Normal trap. If you have 2 cards in your Pendulum zone, apply one of these effects, depending on the difference between those cards' current Pendulum scales. 0, destroy 2 spells and or traps on the field. 1 to 3, add 1 level 2, 3, or 4 Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. 3 to 6, add 1 level 5, 6, or 7 Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. 7, return 2 cards from your Pendulum zone to the hand. Then special summon 1 Pendulum monster from your hand. Sounds like sacrilege to me, but I don't know about Pendulum. I don't know enough about Pendulum to prove you wrong. I just feel like the more cards you run that aren't ways to get to scales, combo pieces, or ways to get Pendulums, or ways to get a link summon before you get scales, or before you Pendulum summon, the more bricks you got in your deck that don't do anything for you. Also, this card is bad. This card is really, really bad. If there is no difference here, if there is no difference between your Pendulum zones, that is legitimately the best effect there. I think there is one deck that can take advantage of the +7, or the 7+. I don't know, there are plenty of decks that can. This is just not good. Indeed, it does jack shit. Yeah, if this had effects that were like... If this was like Ice Mirror... If this was like Ice Mirror, where all of the effects like removed shit from the field, then we're talking, right? Like, that does a thing. However, this is not that. This is bad. So... yeah, it's just kind of meh.